Hello, everyone. I'm just turning up my mic. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast channel. If you are new around here, welcome. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back. I do appreciate you guys being here. So I started this podcast as a subsidiary of my other channel, which is Mommy Trader. So if you're not following over there, follow me over there. Please follow me over there. We're almost at 13,000 subscribers on that main channel. But on that channel, I document me and my family of five's journey to financial freedom, financial independence, and we would love to retire early. We have a plan to do that between 5 and 6 years from now. So we're just chugging along, investing and growing our different passive income revenue streams so that we can actually achieve our goal. So that's what I talk about on that channel, Mommy Trader. But here on the podcast, it allows me to give some in between, some background, some detail to our journey that I'm not always able to share on the main channel. Because if you know you're a content creator, YouTube has an algorithm. It is a very, very sensitive algorithm. So you have to really stay on task, let's say, when it comes to your channel. So over here, I'm able to kind of give more detail. And so if you're not following me on either of these channels, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I'm not a financial advisor or a therapist, but I do believe we can have conversations about money. And I think we need to have more conversations around the topic of money. Okay. And I don't think you need to be licensed to do that. So today you saw the title. We're going to be talking about the biggest danger, the biggest threat to your financial journey, to your financial freedom, to your goals, to your retirement, to you building generational wealth, to you breaking generational curses. The biggest threat is you. Okay? It's you. And in this case, because I'm talking, it's me. I am the biggest threat to this. It's not anyone on the outside. It's not anything on the outside. It's us. We are the biggest threat to our goals. And today we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to share with you a lot of my perspective in terms of, I've been on this journey for 9 years now. So I've experienced a lot of emotions. I've experienced a lot of things, a lot of situations. And I really think we need to have these conversations, because if we don't, we're going to wake up 5-10 years from now in the same situation, right? And so it's important to have these topics. Again, on my platform, I really am about, dialogue, and not just dialogue, but finding solutions to help us to be better, to go a better way, to achieve whatever we are trying to achieve. So the first reason why we are a threat or we are the biggest threat to any type of financial goal we have is because we don't face the truth. We don't face the facts. This is very, very hard. This is very, very difficult to do because I've been there. I was the type of person who felt like if I just didn't see it, if I didn't know it, then it didn't exist. And the fact of the matter is I was lying to myself. And they say ignorance is bliss. Sometimes when you tell yourself, no, I don't, it's not that bad, or I don't have to look at it, we subconsciously believe that it's like paused or it just will disappear. And when it comes to money, remember, money is numbers. They don't lie. They don't portray something that's not accurate. It kind of is what it is. 1 + 1 = 2. And so that, to me, in terms of not facing the truth, will deter any financial goal we have. We can make all of the affirmations and the wealth board, vision boards, and we can have all of the goals in the world. But if we don't really face the truth of the matter, where are we financially? How much debt do we have? What are our assets? How much income do we make from our job? Some people don't even know that, how much money they make from their job. And so again, a lot of it is because they don't want to face the truth. So you really can't project or kind of make plans for the future if you don't know where you are currently. And like I said, I've been there because I felt like it was going to be too much for me. I felt like I wasn't going to be able to kind of get out of the hole. But I think every person who have succeeded on this journey have had like a coming to Jesus moment. You just have to face it. Yeah, you may cry through it. Yes, it may be a shock because you just didn't know how bad things were. But you need to face the truth. And if you don't do that, you're already going out of the gate on the wrong track. You're going to find yourself kind of walking on this path, and then before you know it, literally in a short amount of time, you're going to fall off because you didn't start in truth. You have to know where you're starting from. You have to know what your credit score is. You have to know what your net worth is. You have to know, how much money you have coming in and how much money you have coming out. You have to know your bills. You have to know your expenses. You have to know these things so that you can be proactive in terms of making a plan that will work for you. A lot of times our plans fail. The plans that we make for our money is because we don't come to it from a point of truth. We don't even know our whole situation. So if we don't know how our whole situation, then us making these plans for our money really will come to naught, right? And so one of the things that I did is that one of the great and easiest ways to really kind of face the truth is just pull your credit report. I mean, because your credit report will tell you, especially when it comes to your debts, how much you actually owe, because we have this number. I had this number in my mind, like, oh yeah, like it's like $20,000, and it was like triple that. Like, okay, because we started with negative $75,000 net worth. Again, you think you know, but you don't know until you actually pull it. Why? Because you have compound interest, you have, collection and different charges and collection fees and things on your credit report. Sometimes you're defaulted. Sometimes you think you have a debt in one place and then it was sold to a collection company at another place. So you just don't know. So pull your credit report. That's a great place to start. And the great thing is that the government gives you a free copy of your credit report every single year. So you can get that. I'll have a link to it down in the description box below. Check your credit. That's a great way to do it. And then another thing is pull your last banking statements for the last 3 months. Pull them. So let's just say from February or March, even if you want to. Pull all your statements. And then I want you to get some highlighters and put one color, just all dining out, and add up how much you spent in dining out. And then all of your fixed expenses, that means your rent or your mortgage, your utilities, your gas bill, things like that. Because you'll be surprised when you actually look into the numbers to see, like, okay, this is where I am. So please, guys, if you don't want you to be your biggest threat to your financial goals, then you have to face the truth. And these are 2 ways that help me to do it. The next thing is that, and this was one that I really used to do the early part of my journey, and I'm so thankful that I was able to kind of get through this thinking, is always using an excuse. And I would say at the beginning of my journey, I'm just going to give myself some grace, and that's good when you're getting started. But after a year and a half or 2 years, if you haven't made any progress at all, then you have to really have a conversation with yourself. And yes, it's okay to have these conversations with yourself, but have a conversation with yourself. Say, okay, I'm finding comfort in excuses. And I really need to, be brave, because I had to really be brave and say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I am going to save $100 a month. Come hell or high water, I'm going to save $100 a month. That's what I did. Because I realized, okay, if 6 months has passed and I haven't even done that, I haven't even saved $100 a month. And every time I went out to eat, I would just treat myself, or I would say, you know what, oh, this happened. But if I needed to find a way to get out of that frame of mind, because what I realized is that making excuses was actually causing me to actually take more steps back than I had in previous years, because now that I was kind of on this road to really trying to manage my money, I really wasn't holding myself accountable. And when I wasn't holding myself accountable, I would make an excuse and then find comfort in that. No, it's okay. And yet it's okay the first couple times. But again, if you are trying to buy a house, there's only so many excuses you can make, right? You have to have a down payment. You have to have closing costs. You have to have things to fix up your house with. If you want to retire early, you have to have investments. You have to have some type of passive income streams coming in order to get there. You have to start small, and you start with, saying, I'm going to save this $100 come hell or high water. And I had to really say that to myself, because I was thinking, okay, I'm in my 30s now. Like, I have to do something to change this. Sometimes I had to get more income. That's something else I had to say. Well, I can make this work. No, I had to find a way to get more income to get to these other goals. Why? Because again, I started at 30, and I knew if I wanted to achieve what our financial freedom goals were, I had to kind of pick up the pace like a little bit faster. And you hear me like snapping my fingers. But I had to pick it up. And so to all of you who feel like, you know what, I want to get out of this phase of, like always finding a reason to, like make an excuse really of why I couldn't do anything. And in turn, hold yourself to the fire and say, I'm going to do this, and start small. I'm not saying you have to come out the gate and say you're going to buy a house next week. But with me, it was $100 in 1 month. That was very doable considering how much we were making. And so every time I thought about going through a drive-through or stopping to do this or stopping to do that, I thought, no, I am going to save this $100. And I realized once I started doing that for a little while, I started to see the results. I started to see, okay, well, if I saved $100, maybe I can do $200. Then I did that. Then I started to think, okay, well, maybe I can invest, like instead of $100, maybe I can invest $150. And I did it. And I started to realize, okay, now I understand what it means to hold yourself accountable, to really, you can give yourself. And I have actually in my budget, a self-care fund, and I have a dining out fund, and I use that. And once that money is gone, it's gone. I don't use any other extra money that I was supposed to be saving to give myself an excuse to kind of go willy-nilly, because that's not, at least with my journey, we would not have gotten to millionaire status like we did if we were still in this mind frame of, like always using an excuse. Another thing that's why you're the biggest threat to your financial goals is comparison. Now let's talk about this for a little bit, because I think this is like twofold. So the first piece is that there's always going to be somebody, and this is something someone told me, and I was like, what? They was like, yes, girl, yes. There's always going to be somebody that has more of something than you. And I was like, really? And it was like, yeah, you could have a house. Well, guess what? There's going to be somebody with 2 houses. You could be a millionaire. Guess what? There's going to be somebody that has several millions of dollars. You could be, slim, and there's going to be somebody skinnier. There's always going to be a reason for you to compare yourself to someone else. And because you know that possibility exists, it always exists with anything in life, you put filters up to guard yourself against that, okay? And one of the things that causes a lot of people on this financial journey to fall off is comparing themselves to someone else. We all have our own opinions and our own reasons for doing what we do. If once we start putting someone else's ideas ahead of our own, we are already losing this battle. We're already losing. Why? Because I remember Eleanor Roosevelt had a wonderful quote that I love. She says, no one can make you inferior without your consent. If you are feeling like you're not saving enough, that's because you let someone else dictate to you deep down that what you're doing isn't as good enough, when you should be the one that tells yourself, what I'm doing is as good as I can do, and what they're doing is as good as they can do. One reason why I think my husband and I were able to get to where we are financially in 9 years is because I took the golden nuggets. If I watch Warren Buffett, and I love Warren Buffett, if I constantly compared myself to his net worth, if I constantly compared myself to his portfolio, I would never make any progress. Instead, I took out what he talked about. He said, every time you get paid, you need to be investing your money. It don't matter how much. You just need to be consistent. Another thing he talks about is buying when everybody is scared. That was hard. That's hard because that's an emotional factor that you have to add in. Buying assets when everything is crashing. But that's the golden nuggets. I didn't so much say, well, I have to invest $10 million because Warren Buffett did. I said the best I can do is $100, $200 when we first started. And that's what I'll get started with. And what it did is that it created a good habit. So I took the golden nuggets of what a lot of people who were where I wanted to be. So this is another thing that helped me get out of the comparison mindset, is follow people who are where you want to be. So if you want to be a homeowner, look to someone who's already a homeowner, because they can give you details and feedback that no one else can who is not a homeowner. If you want to be a millionaire, you know why I watch so many people like Warren Buffett. I even watch Dave Ramsey from time to time. I like Jaspreet Singh. I like Delaney, the money coach. I like all of these people because they are millionaires. So I know if and I'm one now, but I knew they knew the pathway because they've walked the path. So I knew, I need to listen a little bit more closely to what they are talking about. You want to get a $100,000 investment portfolio? Look to someone who has it. That helped me to get out of the comparison game because it showed me a path. That is what I was following versus mimicking. See, we mimic what people do versus following the path with the golden nuggets. And that's something that helped me so much when it comes to our financial goals. But comparison will literally destroy any chances you have of any financial goal, even if you just want to save $1,000 a month, because you're always going to be comparing yourself to how much someone else is saving. So I am here to tell you, your investy bestie, that you can stop it by literally, number one, tracking your progress. A lot of us don't track our progress. We actually know more about what other people's finances are and not our own. And excuse me, guys, I think we need to really focus more on tracking our progress, because the detail is in the numbers. You can see, okay, yeah, I wasn't able to save $1,000 or invest $1,000, but guess what? I've been consistent with my $50 and my $100 towards my goals. Also, guys, another thing is that you want to make sure that whatever your financial goals are, and I think all of us have, a variety of them. I think some of us want to achieve financial freedom. Some of us want to have a nest egg for just traditional retirement. Some of us want to retire early. Some of us want to have generational wealth. Some of us want a combination of all those things. All of that is great. But remember, and I think we don't, I think really understand this statement. Personal finance is personal. I can't, like, we will say what we think other people are doing, or we think what other people are getting caught up in, but we don't focus on where we are and what we are doing. And I know when I got started, I was so gung-ho about, what other people were investing in. And then I would kind of follow what they invested in. And I realized that's not my goal. That's not my strategy. I realized a long time ago that I'm not a person who can day trade. I tried and made some money from it, but it was stressful. I was always glued to a chart, multiple charts. You had to get up before the market opened. So a lot of times I was on the charts at like 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock. That's just not me. And I realized, you know what? That's okay. I'd rather just be a long-term investor. And I realized, you can see the accounts on the other channel. It works. It works. The 401k, the Roths, the taxable accounts, the HSA. For us, it works. And I found what works for me, guys. So you have to remember, on this journey, if you don't want to have your financial goals go by the wayside, remember, you are the priority. How you think, how you feel, where you want to go. You are the priority, and it's good. There are multiple ways to get to financial freedom. There's no one set way, okay? And then the final thing that is the biggest threat, or why you are the biggest threat, to your financial goals, to your financial freedom, to whatever you want to achieve, is doubt and fear. A lot of us just don't believe we can do it. I didn't know how to invest when I first started. I didn't know how to buy a house. I didn't know how to manage our money in a spreadsheet. All of this had to be learned. This is learned behavior. And I think we don't give ourselves the opportunity to have learned behavior. We don't think that we can learn something new. I'll tell you, I remember seeing years ago, even as a teenager, just flipping through the channels, I would see like the stuff on CNBC or Fox Business. I would see like the little stock symbols and stuff, had no clue what it meant, and actually thought to myself, oh, that's something that, higher ups know about. A regular person wouldn't understand this. And when you make yourself available to learn, you're going to quickly realize that all of the fear, all of the doubt that you had is going to disappear because of truth. Truth goes hand in hand with knowledge. When you understand how to do something, you'll realize there was no reason for you to be worried or concerned. But the reason why many people stop, whatever it is, budgeting, paying off debt, saving, investing, whatever it is because they don't believe they can do it or they're scared to do it. That's where fear comes in. And so one of the reasons why I said a few minutes ago about I look at people who have walked this way. So we want to achieve financial freedom and retire early. One reason why I love Our Rich Journey, which is Amon and Christina, they've already did it. So now I know whatever they're sharing, they have the experience. They're really open and transparent with their investments and just their journey in general. And it helps me to really, gives me the tools I need to make better choices walking on this path. There's people who paid off their student loans. There's people who are paying off their mortgage. Talk about inspiration, because you can see if you want to do that, they are currently doing it. So they can give you some experience. Well, just be consistent. Send over every amount you can, even if it's pennies. You can apply it towards your mortgage principal. Like that is what, I love people who either have walked that way or who are walking that way. And so having fear and having doubt will kill any, like you may, and you'll think, what, I can't do it. I'll tell you this. I didn't think I can make YouTube videos. I was thinking, okay, how am I going to figure out how to set up this mic with the camera, make sure my audio is coming through, create thumbnails, because when you approach YouTube, it is a lot to learn. But if you make yourself available, there's so much free content out there that will teach you how to set up a mic, how to make a thumbnail, how to upload. I had to make myself available for it. See, we all have the same amount of hours in a day. And I realized years ago that I was wasting a lot of time. I was wasting time watching reality shows when I could have been learning how to make a YouTube video. And I'm telling you, I love it. I love making these podcast episodes. I love making YouTube videos, just documenting our journey. And then it turned into a business. It literally, I got on YouTube to document our journey to financial freedom. People started to follow the channel because they wanted to know how to do it too. They wanted to know, how do you start late? How do you invest properly? How do you, how do you build up your accounts? How do you buy real estate? All of this stuff. And then I realized what other people wanted to know too. And so again, I was able to turn it into a business, but I would not have done it if I didn't put the doubt and fear aside that I was telling myself and just start. And even if it doesn't work out, at least right? And so I'm here to tell you that if you are trying to do better with your finances, tell yourself, be that cheerleader for yourself and say, you can do this. I can. I will. I'm going to give myself a grace period. And I always like 3 months because that's 1 quarter. And that's enough time for you to really see results, starting results. Okay. You're not going to get to your goals in 3 months, but you're going to see progress. And that's what I'm trying to convey in this. And so if you don't want to be the biggest threat to you achieving your goals, believe in yourself. You have to believe that you can do it and then actually execute it, right? Because you can wish it, in your mind that you want to be debt free. But if you don't actually make the payments to be debt free, it's not going to happen. But remember, it all starts in the mind first, right? And so if you tell yourself that you can do it, that you're more than a conqueror, that you can overcome, that you can do this, then you will. Again, I didn't think we could be a millionaire. We would be millionaires when we started at 30. That's starting late, according to a lot of financial gurus. That's late. But we started to realize every chunks of money we got, and we were fortunate and blessed and worked very hard to get what we have, but putting it to good use, putting it into places that can continue to grow and build for us, tracking our expenses, knowing what money is going out, knowing what money is coming in, investing our money, teaching our children about it. These are all things that, again, helps to dispel fear and doubt because you constantly have it in the light. And that's what I want you guys to do when it comes to your money, is walk in the light. You can do it. I believe in you because I was there once. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I could do it as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of color, as just a friend. I didn't think I could do investing or be an encouragement to others on their journey. But guess what? Just because I started, I'm now seeing the fruits of that labor. So I want you to start, and I want you to know that I believe in you. So I don't want you to be the biggest threat to your financial goals. I want you to achieve them. I want you to be able to, walk into whatever you want your purpose for your life to be. Because remember, we are only here for a short amount of time. And I believe you can accomplish whatever it is you want to do. So that's the podcast for the day, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to all of the supporters of the podcast through my Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to support the channel, buy me a coffee or a tea. I really do appreciate it. Information is always down below in the description box. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me over on my other channel if you have not done so already. Information is down below. But I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Leave me some comments down below. And I will see you next Saturday for our next podcast episode. So have a good one, guys. Keep on trucking along. I believe in you. And I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye for now.